our shows, hasn't it?
It showed in our setup how rusty and pathetic nothing was working as per normal. It's like it's showtime and nothing wants to work.
Oh, that's it. It's terrible. I'll stick my fan on down here. It's warm in this room.
Technology, mate. Technology.
It's great when it works, isn't it?
It is great until your kids are on roadblocks and playing Fortnite and downloading music and everything, and the internet is not working like it should.
Yeah, that's it. And son had something downloading on the PS4. I don't know. They always get all these free games all the time that PlayStation give out or something, and it's like, oh, download this. It's like there's another 100 meg or 50 gig or some stupid amount of download. They just sit there and wait for hours for it to download. Play it for a day, then delete it.
Yep. Yeah, loving it.
Yeah.
So what's news?
Oh, Expo. It's all I know.
Finally. I'm just going to do a little share here. If anyone wants to share away. I'll share to Morelia Morph Heads.
Yeah, Mr. Deeb's front row as always.
Hey, Charlie.
Wife and kids, I imagine. Hello to all. Sharon Harris, evening.
The Deeb family.
Yeah. Yeah, we've been a bit slack with the live, but obviously coming into, if you've watched any of the egg cutting shows, you know, that was busy enough. So when those babies come out, it's feeding hatchy time. So we've both been flat out. And obviously I have actually suggested on the show, I think the last 2 weekends, but either I've been too busy, Brent's been too busy, We've both been too tired.
I was too drunk.
Half your luck.
That would have been the best night to do it. that should have been the night. I did pre-warn you though. It was early afternoon drinks, that one.
One day we might have an adults only session.
Oh shit!
You know what the pub was like.
Yes, absolutely. And that was at 8. I tried to behave myself there. I was on a leash, very tight.
Yes, yeah, I wasn't too bad. It was pretty good by the end of the night, despite someone throwing the Scotch and Cokes back at me, which I haven't had for a while. It was all good. Carl Smith, evening, mate. Steve, Staten, Peter, Mr. Bahaja.
Marty man.
Baldy man himself. Hey, Marty, hope you're doing well, mate. Dennis Bulk, g'day. Mr. Venom Staff.
He's coming to the Expo as well. Mr. Venom Staff, drop in and say hello again. Good to catch up.
Elizabeth Shakita, she talks about coming to Expo, but never does. Slack. Yeah.
People have lives.
Yeah, she says, thank you for keeping me entertained while I'm in hospital. Well, I hope it's nothing serious.
Poor girl.
Yeah, it's no good.
Daz will talk you through the night. He's pretty good at that.
Yeah, I normally go to either I get a headache or someone else gets one, or my voice goes. It's normally one of the three. Mel Taylor, how you going? Matty Traves is in the house again.
Hey, he's been a bit crook too. Hope you're on the repair, mate.
Definitely. It's like that. It's been that time of year, I guess, with COVID, people getting sick with COVID, and now the flu coming around as well. So hopefully no one's getting too sick or too crook or anything like that. Carson, I want to make it to the Expo, but fuel prices and all that, mate. You're not wrong, mate. I filled up my car. I don't think I've ever put more than like $70 worth.
Yep.
SV6 Volkswagen, and it took $100 to fill the bloody thing up. Ridiculous, $2 a litre.
Buy a V8 Land Cruiser like my wife drives, mate. Eh? This is like $220 to fill up and lasts about 350 k's the way she drives it. She still thinks she's in a Commodore.
Flat stop.
Like the throttle's just a switch on a dash. On, full noise, off.
You know you can feather the throttle.
No.
All the way down or all the way up. No.
We've got to go. We've got to teach these people in other cars this brick can fly. That's her philosophy of driving. Fine.
That's what we always say. You see some guy in his Dodge Ram or something bore off at the lights. I'm like, well, he goes $50.
Oh, my mate Julian Hutchins in the house, the master trailer builder himself. Mr. JH Trailers, buy a Jeep, mate. Don't even start with that story.
Yeah. I mean, I'm assuming you don't want to get to work or anywhere else. You buy a Jeep.
He's a mechanic too, so he can fix his own Jeep.
Oh, your mum's here too. Hey, Jan. Brett Moore.
Hello, Mother.
Trent Humphreys. Hey, guys. So popping in. So, Expo.
Mr. Dave Williams. Mr. Dave. Yeah, mate, finally Expo. Very excited for the Expo because, I don't know, I mean, I know they've had later Expos before, but it just seems like they never get the timing right. That Sydney Expo and Penrith Expo, I'll be in trouble again for not criticising, just offering advice that they're a little bit early. So the big advantage Illawarra will be the fact it's May, and Darren's been flat out feeding lots. I've been flat out feeding tons, so we will have lots of stuff up to size and lots of stuff ready. And I'm sure we're not alone. There'll be other breeders that will have plenty to look at on the show. So definitely. I'm hoping it's a good day.
Yeah, same. Hopefully, looking forward to it. I mean, the preparation work of trying to work out, especially with larger collections, and you probably find it's the same with most people that go that have a decent amount of animals. It's only so much you can fit on the table. There's only so much you can put on display, so much you can transport there, depending on what it is and what sort of car you have. There's all these things that come into play. Traveling time as well, setup times.
Hopefully you don't have a Jeep.
Yeah. I mean, if you want to get there, don't get a Jeep. Yeah, and I'm sure if you spoke to anyone at the Expo, the hours and time beforehand getting set up, prep, making sure animals are fed and doing the right things and all that is immense. I know I've been flat out doing the list. I've got like 3 pages over here just of like hatchy stuff, including some of the adults, and it all comes into play, and then you got to make sure they're all doing the right things. So,
how many hatchies you think you have ready for the show?
Not as many as I'd like. I've got a few. I think there's something like, I've got about 100 odd ready to go for the show.
Beautiful. That's good. Yeah, I mean, no one ever sells, that quantity of snakes at an expo, but it will be awesome to, like, I've had a couple of people ask, what are you taking? Looking for this, that, cheap stuff, whatever they're after. And so, like, come to the expo, not just because what I'll have there and Darren will have there,
else as well.
Everyone else will have their full range of stuff ready to go. It's the time where everything's ready. You'll see everything you ever want to see will be at this expo, which will be good for people who don't really know what they want. A lot of people have an idea. Some people just have a budget. But at this expo, you'll get so much variety. You'll get choices.
Yep, that's right. And it's not just pythons like that we kind of specialise in. You're also going to get the geckos, the frogs, the dragons, the monitors, like all the variation that you want. So the shows are awesome. We never actually pick on the shows. As I've mentioned before, I've done these shows since the first inception of being able to actually sell them in 2007. And they're awesome. Great place to meet people, catch up people, and see things firsthand. We never pick on the show, so I'll never ever say that I've ever been to a bad one.
No,
but timing is crucial.
Yeah, mate, that Pendle show is the best show I've ever done, hands down. Absolute perfect storm of COVID, wiping the world out forever. Everyone busting to get out, and mate, they came to Penrith. It was brilliant. It's just,
it was.
It's just,
I think it'll be the same down.
Battle.
Yeah, I think it'll be a good one down South. Joe always puts plenty of time and effort, and all the rest of the volunteers and helpers and the club and the society and all those people. Kudos to them for all the time, effort, and work they put into the show. I'm sure it'll be great as always. I mean, it's not the first one that you and I have both been to, Brent. We've been to pretty much every single one.
Yeah, so, definitely. If it's on, we're there. We've done the trips up to Port Macquarie, the North Coast shows when they had them, and wherever there's a show, we shall go.
Yeah, MacArthur back in the day, MacHurst. Yeah, plenty. It's great. So I'll just say a few hello. Chuck Burns, g'day, mate. I'm just dropping in.
G'day.
Matty Trays, let this 6.5 hour chat start.
I'm going to bed at 9:30, Darren. Do not exceed my bedtime.
Matty Trays missed the 6.5 hour chat. Sucked. Oh, it's raining. I don't want to come to the pub. Ryan Shepherd, Rangers going good. Brent, $140 on a good day, towing 2 tons, 600 kilometres. Not a lot of
Rangers are good. Just don't get an automatic one. I hear. It's just a word on the street.
Yep. Boswell. Oh,
hey, Mr. Boswell,
coming up to the show desk. G'day, guys. Looking forward to catching up on Sunday. Awesome, mate. Good to know you coming up.
We'll be blessed with his presence.
Absolutely. Great to catch up and say hello.
Yep.
Tommy Guzzi, hey mate, how are you? Alison Zapala. So Darren Boswell, they will know when they see it. Okay. Marty Bahaj, I'd love to come one day. Definitely, mate. You have to come down. They're great shows. Even just the social aspect of it. I think I was talking to Elizabeth Randall before, message or on a post somewhere or other, saying like just the whole social thing. I used to do the Vic One and a few Scales and Tails expos up in Queensland and that when they were on, and it's good just to get around, chat people you chat to all the time on Facebook. It's nice to be able to put that name to a face.
To the name.
And have a good old chat. You know, it's great, meet all sorts of different people. It's unreal. So
it's funny the people you see and you sort of think, I think I know them, but it's, when you're stalking people's Facebook profile and seeing faces and names, it all starts to gel together at the shows.
Yeah, I mean, our ugly mugs are on here.
I know people know us. That's what's scary. We just don't know everyone else.
Yeah, Elizabeth, are there any expos later in the year? There's rumours that there might be. Yeah, so we hope so. Well, we love doing expos. They're great fun.
Yep.
Chuck Burns, keen to see everything at this expo. This will be my first one. All I can say is get there early. It's absolutely flat out from doors open for 3 to 4 hours. It is. If Penrith there's anything to go from, it's just chaos for us behind and the people trying to look and see everything. So, particularly if you're going to buy, if you're just going to go there for a sticky, it's not quite as important, but a lot of stuff will sell out early on in the night. Yeah. Or day, I should say. Nick Holworth, Jezza, Mr. Finlay.
The beautiful man himself.
Yeah, he is. Yep, that's it.
He's been ignoring us now. He's in love. He got himself, things to do, places to be.
Yeah, found something more interesting to play with. Can't blame him. I play with snakes, but it's normally the scaly kind.
As long as he's happy, mate. He's got a smile on his face. That's all that matters.
Carl Smith, which would wish they would have one out this way in the rural side of Wagga or something or other. Yeah, I suppose. Well, they had one. I think the biggest problem with a smaller regional area is just the lack of interest. I suppose just a smaller community. I mean, I know they had a good crack at the one at Port Macquarie there. It's a 4-hour trip, but I went up. I think I only missed one of those. What did they do there? I think 4 or 5, maybe.
Yep.
Shows or something or other. And it got crowds and got a few people in there, but it was never massive. And I think it's just the lack of volume of hobbyists in the area, maybe. But I enjoy going to them. It's an excuse to get away out of Sydney.
Absolutely. Darren Boswell, 10 a.m., mate. 10 a.m. doors open. 10 till 3 is the show. This one's a little later opening than some other, so there will definitely be a queue. I think you can get tickets online. If you go to the Illawarra Expo, Illawarra Reptile Society page, they've got all the links to the tickets there, so you can streamline yourself in.
Yep, make it quick and easy. Josh Marshall, g'day. Matty Trace.
Hey, Josh.
Nobody can chat to you, Daz. It was like that at Penrith, wasn't it? I know Matt was standing there for ages waiting to see me. I think I got to say hi, and that was it. It was crazy.
Mate, I think that was the first expo. At about 1 o'clock, I looked over at you. You were a ball of sweat and looking frantic, and I was just like, what? Normally by now we've been dickheads and running around abusing each other and setting snakes free on each other's stands and just doing dumb stuff. But
giving abuse over the counter.
There's no time for play.
Mate, I'll tell you, I reckon I lost 3 kilos in sweat that day. My God. Great
hectic.
Day.
Hectic.
Kurt Jaspers, hey mate. And all right, I suppose. Faye, Queen of Ants. There you go.
Hello, Faisy.
Rena Harrison, good. Darren Boswell's Jared making a trip down. No, he's not coming. I actually spoke to him yesterday, and it's a 4-hour trip for him now since he's moved up north out of Sydney, whereas before he was much closer. So he said he's not going to be able to make it, unfortunately. So, but anyway, how many animals do you reckon you got going for the show, Brent? Looks like you had a bit of a mix in the post you made the other day. Looks like you got a few critters.
Yeah, I found a couple of leftovers that I hold stuff back a little while and then have to make choices. You can't keep them all. So there was a few yearlings that I thought I'll move on. Not too many, but a couple that very nice ones that I thought could be something. So I'll keep a couple, sell a couple, and I think I've pushed hard and got about 70 hatchies ready. So It should be. I think that's the most amount of hatchies I've ever had at an expo. It's been
me too.
It's been that extra bit of time, and everything seemed well. I guess most stuff fed fairly well, which helps. I've even got Bradley, which is the last to hatch, which will be ready as well. Well, normally they're not even close to expo ready. Sometimes not even hatched before the first expo.
Yeah.
So should be a nice display. It'll be the first time I think I'll have my little 3 boxes will be chock-a-block, which will be lovely.
Yeah, I've got an extra display for this one. So it'll be the most animals I've had on display at any show ever. So I think there'll be 68 on display. So
beautiful.
I've already started getting the tubs ready over here, loaded up. Not loaded up, but ready for the snakes to go in, labelled and named and everything. So trying to get on top of it.
That's my kitchen table at the moment. My wife's not real happy with the renovated kitchen suddenly being taken over by labels and plastic tubs and mess. I'll be in trouble, so I'll better get that done and clean it up after Sunday.
Yeah, that's it. Hi, Adam. Andrew's in there. Yeah, it was a busy day, mate, wasn't it? You were there over behind us there. It's a good day. So hopefully the next one's like it. So I'm looking forward to it. So that's on this Sunday, Mother's Day. So all you people out there need to go buy Mummy a snake and keep it for yourself. That's how I justify it. It's for
all mothers need a snake.
It.
Yep. If the mother doesn't like the snake, you may take it home yourself.
Yeah. So plenty. Anyway,
I saw someone mention the footy. Who's playing tonight? Whoever's giving me score updates on the footy in the chat, please. Since Darren made me do a show on a football night. It's not the Roosters, I know that. It's not the Roosters. We haven't been playing at all lately, so show up.
Jake Shepherdson, do you fellas breed your own rodents? I used to. For many,
we both used to.
We both woke up. Wait, no.
We both moved on.
South down 10. There you go.
Oh, poor Julian. He's a South supporter and a Jeep supporter, and it's not a good night for him.
Losing all round. Sorry, Julian.
Wow. Man, the Broncos learned how to play football, mate. What happened?
Charlie Davis. Yep, sorry. It's hard to see on the screen there sometimes. Do you guys show any snakes on the lives? Yeah, we do. Normally we, right through breed or hatching season, we'll do live egg cutting shows. We normally have snakes. I think the last one we did, we had a couple of snakes up to show, I think, the last one. But just so close to the show this time, no, not tonight. But certainly that's something we try to do, have something for people that are interested in seeing. So, we're too busy getting ready for the show. Even this is a squeeze, but we needed to get in and have a chat before the weekend, I think.
Yep.
John said, hi, Daz. What are the 3 peppers in your post for tonight's show? I can't remember. I have no idea what was the post.
One was the ghost pepper. I think there was a caramel pepper.
Might be a pepper jag, was it?
Yep, pepper jag as well. Yep.
Yeah. So that would be the 3. Couple of rare stuff. Yeah, Kurt Lisley, you'll be there. Look forward to seeing you. Well, I suppose we should, before we carry on talking too much, we just thought we'd do a bit of a chat about some of the pepper stuff that I've been working on, obviously, for quite a long time. And Brent obviously has had some success with too recently. So
jumped on your bandwagon, mate. After you did all the hard work, I just slipped on in there for some late entry.
That's what she said. So I just thought we'd just grab some photos. We're actually going to do a few photos on here, just some stuff. We'll just scroll through some of the things, but we thought we'd just show. I'll just screen share here. So you can see all the dribble of photos. There we go. So a lot of people ask, I actually had a few people saying, don't know anything about the peppers. What are they? Where they come from? Someone saying, is it something to do with jags? I'm like, no, nothing at all. So that was, free. Yep. So that was the original dad, which I still have. He's probably, when did they, that was 07, CB 05, so he'd be 18 years old. Does that sound about right? Something like that now.
Going strong.
In the front room, yep. So that was
18. Yep.
So he was the founding father. And actually what I might do,
Beautiful red speckling in that boy too. You see where some of the in your line you get a lot of that little red highlights on scales.
Yeah, there's some photos in here. I'll just find. And oh, there she is. And that's mum. So that was the original mum. So you can see the dad had a lot more red in her than mum. Mum still has a bit around here. You can see around some of these scalations a slight off, but she's more your typical, what I call the bluey grey
everyday Murray
MD. So it was just those two that I'd actually randomly swapped a friend for a diamond python with back in the day. Well, it was probably 2005 or 6.
What a great swap!
Yeah, it was a great swap
for the pair or just for one of them.
A pair, yeah. She had an Avery outside and just wanted a couple of diamonds. So I said, "Well, I got a diamond here." She goes, "I don't want these Murrays. You can have them. Just give me a diamond." I went, "Yeah, sold, done deal." Yeah. So I picked up the Murrays. Yeah, they were about 12 months of age when I got them. And fed them up. And then this photo here was actually the very first, that clutch that I produced in 07. That was one of the first times I picked the egg, as I have been doing for a long time, and saw that pattern, which was obviously at that point I had no idea what it was, what I was looking at, or anything else. Knew nothing about genetics or all that, any of that sort of stuff.
That's weird.
Yeah, I thought that doesn't look like a Murray Darling. What's going on here? And then as they started to come out, that's what there was a couple. Obviously, there was 3 originally hatched. One had a deformed epiglottis and wouldn't tongue flick properly, and force fed for, I think it was 9 or 10 or 11 months or something or other, and ended up being euthanized. Another one escaped after a show in the middle of winter when I was battling with severe depression and all that other terrible stuff. I found it after 3 months out in the middle of winter with a severe RI, dehydration, extremely malnourished. Unfortunately, lost it, and I ended up with one. After all that, we'll keep
the OG, that was a female?
Yep, it was a female, which everyone says, "Oh, it took you so long." I'm like, yeah, that's why. So, and that was grab it at this point in time, but she wouldn't eat. So she didn't breed for 5 years because she didn't feed. So at I think 4 years of age, she was like 300 grams, and she came out of, I cooled her one winter because I'd just given up, and she came out of brumation with an appetite for destruction. And what'd
you pair her to for her first breeding?
So she went back to the dad. So if you want the slightly longer version, I actually lost this female, the mum, the original mum, the following season. So she bred the first year. So the first year I produced, and we had the first expo where we could sell animals here at Castle Hill, Wild Expo, and I had them on display. I had the Murrays on display, plus I had the Peppers on display at the first show. And she, even though she had mated that season, because the show was in May, so it was in a cooler part of the time, and even though she'd mated with the male like 6 or 7 times, she never produced a clutch. I never thought anything of it at the time. I just thought, oh, well, you win some, you lose some. So, and then coming into the following season, I'd noticed she had some blisters down the side of her body, and she'd also had a puffy throat. She had no mucus or anything like that. And I thought, that's not good. So I rang up Michelle Darley, who I'd recommend if anyone's looking for a vet. She's out at North Richmond. Great person and a great vet, and extremely knowledgeable reptile vet. And she actually popped over, actually took popped one of the blisters on the side, which had like a thinned out blood fluid in it. She took that, took a sample, went off, and she came back and said, it's got cancer. So she actually took the snake away, and did an autopsy at a veterinary class she was teaching at the time, and had 13 tumours had gone through its body. Wow. And she said at that point in time, the biggest tumour was actually on the ovaries, on the oviduct. And she believes that was probably the founding one, which was probably why she never bred the season prior, was just unable to reproduce. And then, of course, once cancer cells get into the bloodstream, it had just riddled her body through. So she was still alive when she took it, but unfortunately. So, that would have been
a very, very exciting necropsy for that class, wouldn't it? Pop this open and here, boom.
it's funny because I said, "Oh, can you send me photos?" And she's like, "Yeah, I've got them here. I've got it all from the class," and I never ever got the photos. So, anyway, but yeah, sadly, like she actually euthanized it in the class and everything, so they could go through the whole process. Yeah, it was. So I was never able to reproduce that pairing. So the original female that I had, which was this girl, she went back to the dad. So she went back to the dad, which was that photo of her gravid before, wherever that was, up here. And she finally produced a clutch in 2012, which yielded 2 hets and 6 peppers, which here. So you can see that was the clutch she produced. Only a small clutch, lost a few in the clutch, but enough to know at that point in time that it was genetically inheritable. But at that point, just because you've got a clutch, you've got something visible, wasn't enough. I knew it was inheritable, but I still needed to prove whether it was recessive, whether it was incomplete dominant, whether there was something else going on. So there was still more work to be done. But at least I knew the trait. I could reproduce the trait. So
at least it secured it. It was close to losing the whole project. The losses early.
Yeah. There's photos of, some of these photos are old. They're not great. I'm not the best photographer in the world, but at least it gives you an idea. One of the girls heavily gravid. These are from the later ones. Just some of the nicer photos of some of the peppers. I think the original peppers and the pure peppers are some of the most stunning animals. There's a lot of
very reduced, are they?
Yeah, I'd call polygenic variation in some of the crossed stuff. But these guys are all fairly similar, but I think they're quite spectacular myself, like the original peppers. So, and they're obviously pure Murray Darling. And talking about the reds, you can see here in some of the little red fleckings through some of these patterns. I don't know if you can see my cursor on the screen or not.
Yeah, random scales here and there.
Yeah, there's actually, I like this photo because you can actually see the little speckles.
Yep.
So, and these are all, you can see all the pictures there. They're all like pure Murray Darlings. This clutch here was actually from the very first pepper to pepper pairing I made. So it's produced the very first entire clutch of silver peppers.
And a little bit more decent looking clutch too.
Yeah. It wasn't always great. And then you get this thing what I call ghosting in the peppers. I'm not sure why. I've had numerous people talking about whether it's through contentment, happiness, blood flow in the veins after meals. But this snake here, which you can see is a little bit more, let's just say for argument, the melanin's more pronounced or quite visible. So the pattern's quite easily noticeable. That is actually the same animal as this one.
Yep.
So you can see how that pattern's faded away and the melanin's dropped out. Anyone that has roughies or something like that or ghost children's will see a similar sort of thing. They kind of just get this silver. I don't know what it is. You can open the drawer 10 times and one day I open the drawer, it's like, wow, that's stunning. Yeah.
The nighttime sheen.
Yeah, not sure what causes it. No one's been able to give me an answer. They're not exactly the prettiest things when they come out of an egg.
Most hatchies aren't. It's Brisbane 12, South 6. It's getting interesting. Thanks, Matty. Thanks, Ben stuff.
Yeah, you need to keep me updated. If anyone's got any questions or anything, just ask away because I'm busy looking at this screen over here with pictures.
Up and through. Joe Payne slipped in. G'day, Joe. Good job, Expo Queen.
Yep.
You've done all the hard work now. It's up to us to complete the mission.
Yeah, that's it. Looking forward to it. So these are one of the big gravid girl wrapped on the water bowl. So
good size load in that one.
Yeah, it was a good size load in that one. So that's just some of the original pepper stuff anyway. That's the same thing. That's the original pepper girl that I had. That was her. Just prior to egg deposition, for those that might be breeding for the first time or haven't bred before, quite often right before egg deposition, you'll find the snake starts to twist itself in knots, which is what this girl's doing as they start to try to force all those eggs down towards the cloaca. So this was, not that I watched her, it was actually the first time I discovered that the more you watch them, doesn't speed anything up. I think I would look at this girl 13 times a day, thinking just fingers crossed that everything went to plan.
Well,
went well, and then of course, then you have the same with the incubator. You check it 18 times a day, looking inside the incubator, not actually opening the door, but going, I wonder if there's a head out yet. If I look more, maybe they'll hatch sooner. But
and probably annoying that girl more, opening that tub, probably the worst thing you could do, adding extra stress to her. But it's hard when you're human and all these exciting things happen.
Yeah, absolutely. That was a photo of her when she was a bit younger. So these actually went into the More Complete Carpet Python book when Nick and those guys first did it.
Yep.
So, and this photo here was in one of the earlier Python's radio calendars when they first hatched out. So this was actually the female that I lost, this one, unfortunately. So the one that got away just from my own sheer negligence and poor mental health. But anyway.
Go on. Yep. Yeah. Darren Gale, g'day, mate. I'm sure Darren will be down at the Expo on Sunday.
Yeah, Pythons will be there, I'm sure, as always.
So Dennis Bulk saying pepper and silver pepper, same thing.
Well, yes and no. I mean, I just call it pepper because it's just a shorter name. I normally call the pure stuff silver peppers, and then the combo stuff, whatever pepper. Not to be confused with orange peppers or like the the poorly given name to caramel jags that were penned when they were brought into the country and called caramel peppers and RPMs and all that sort of stuff. No.
Can you block that ass clown dropping all the stuff in that comments, Darren? Can you see it from your end? Whoever is, it's coming from YouTube, I think. And maybe it's coming from my YouTube.
No, it's blocked.
Get out, you fool.
Block lists.
Naked girls here. Yeah. We're talking about snakes, mate. Go away.
Yep. There's always some grub, isn't there? Can't help that. Go on now. See ya.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. So, anyway, once I kind of had all the peppers hatched out and, obviously knew there was something genetic going on, I then had to kind of work out what was going on. So breeding the same things back together or within the same line doesn't give you enough of an answer. You need to outcross, and you need to outcross with some sort of variety, not back in. So these are just some of the pairings I made. So, this was the pepper over a jag to make the original pepper jags that I produced.
This is all part of the correct proving out procedure of outcrossing and then making visuals back from those outcrossed heads.
Yep. That was one. That's actually, is that girl? Yep. So it's that girl on that clutch of eggs at that particular time.
Made the first jag het peppers.
Yep. And I've shown this before to Brent. So this was one I prepared. So this was from a clutch from a pepper over a jag that I hatched out. And I said the best part about that is when you can go forward and excuse the dirty tub, but that's actually that girl there back to a pepper that I produced. She was a really bad feeder. Yeah, really bad feeder. Quite a stunning looking jag as well. She is. I mean, the photo doesn't do it any justice, but she's quite a light caramelly sort of colour. And took me years to get her to feed properly. She would eat, but just sporadically. And I cooled her coming into last season, and she made it and produced a clutch. It's like a pig. It seems to be a bit of a good turning point for anyone that's got fussy animals. Just cool them over a winter, let them get cool, don't feed them, and warm them up. And often it can be enough to turn them into a food mate. This thing eats like a pig now, but I was determined. So she's probably 6 years old, maybe 6 or 7 years old.
Yeah, plenty mature.
Only had her first clutch last year. Yeah. From that, that was from all the pepper albinos. That was the original pure albino Darwin I have, which I still have, with the pepper girl. original Pepper girl, OG girl.
Make the nice double head clutch.
Yeah, make the nice double head clutch. So that's obvious. That's a silver pepper being out crossed to another pure Murray Darling. So she have some of those this year. She popped another clutch this season. She was that big one that dropped 33 eggs.
Nice. Beautiful clutch.
Yeah, so that was a Zeb over a pepper. So I've got the same thing. I've actually had 2 clutches of pepper over het pepper zebra the last 2 seasons. First season I was away. She dropped half a decent clutch, which all dried up on heat mate because I was away for 3 months. So they just sat there and cooked and went off. And this season she dropped pretty much a full clutch of slugs. So
shame.
The obviously that's not this zebra. Yeah, but the zebra, that's her from last season, the zebra girl. So she's huge now. I just smashed her full of food and thought, well, I'll give you no excuse not to produce a decent clutch. She has produced fertile eggs in the past, the first clutch.
Yep.
So hopefully this year that might rectify that issue.
Yes, that'll be nice.
Yep, and that's caramel jag over pepper, or vice versa, to produce the caramel pepper jags.
Yep.
And that's another original pepper to jag. Oh no, sorry, that's that's actually pepper to het pepper jag. That's one of the jags I produce and have produced some of the pepper jags that I have now.
It's one of the first clutches of.
Yeah. Yep. Actually see down here the code and HP 4 female, het pepper 4. So that one, and that is a jungle line I'm working on. So I put a jungle over a pepper. So she actually dropped a clutch. Actually, some of the wild types in this clutch are unreal. See how this has actually got a few ocelots up in here? Some of the babies are like full of them. They're quite stunning. They all look very similar. They're quite stunning. So I'm holding them back to see how they look and colour up. And that's a caramel jag that had a pepper over this season. So she was one that produced some of the first caramel pepper jags I hatched out this year.
Yep, nailed that one with the 3 or 4, wasn't it, this season?
Yeah, it was one clutch. Yeah, it was an absolute boomer. Yeah, three caramel pepper jags actually this year. Yeah, so can't keep them all.
Very nice.
Yeah, so that's just some of the combinations over the years anyway. And then I reckon we'll save the combos and variation later. One thing I've noticed with the double hets is probably plenty of people have seen when I say double hets, the pepper albino versions, is the red you get in some of the albino MDs. Unfortunately, lost this girl. I had an incident with a good old thermostat. So she was a really bad feeder. Finally got her feeding exceptionally well. She was smashing down the food. And we had a stinking hot day. Unbeknownst to me, my thermostat had died. She had a big feed along with a couple others. And I thought, what's that smell? Unfortunately, I lost her and 3 other snakes in a hatchie rack on a stinking hot day, sadly. But, I mean, it's the way it goes. She had a big feed and just got too hot. So, but yeah, the reds.
That orange is crazy, isn't it? The MD influence in the albino.
Yeah. It's quite something, and it's a fairly common thing too. I suppose it's a bit like the albino breadlie. These get quite good. This is another freaky thing I produced. I still have this guy. I'm not sure what to do with him yet. This amazingly striped post double het pepper albino came out of a clutch. Yeah,
no other stripes in the clutch.
There was some other stripe stuff, but like this guy just seems to be exceptionally, I guess, tri-striped.
Yeah. Full body length there,
yeah. Just a freak, stunning animal. And that's why I've kept it. I'm like, I might pair it with something one day. I don't know.
When you've got a spare albino pepper female,
yeah, something like that. This is another really nice.
That's beautiful.
Yeah. So I've got 2 of these. These are high percentage. These are 87.5% MD jag het peppers. So I produced 2 like this out of a clutch. They're absolutely stunning. They actually have a very nice blue tinge to them, which is very hard to photograph. But yeah, these are actually.
Is that one that you had at the Expo at Penrith?
No, the one I had at the Expo, which obviously was quite a stunning snake.
Yeah,
these look better than that again.
Wow, yeah, that was a cracker, that thing.
Yeah, that's why that's why that one got moved on. I'm like, oh, how many do I need? So these ones are nice, plus being more high percent MD as well. But yeah, hopefully these are both girls. There's 2 of these, so hopefully they'll make some nice animals this season. Up to size now, obviously. There's just some other variation you get. You can see how some are quite a dark yellow as opposed to this one on the left. You can even see the MD pattern in the head of the one on the left.
Yep. So and they were both just albinos? There was no caramel in that clutch?
Nope, both. So my double hets have no caramel, no hypo, nothing. They're just pure albino Darwin, going back to that photo, and pure MD silver pepper.
Yep.
So no caramel at all. Yeah. So, I mean, it'd be easy to call this one on the right to Sunglow.
Yep.
Yep. To Sunglow, but it's not. It doesn't have anything in it. So that whole hypo caramel with the Darwin gene and all that sort of stuff is easily mistakable to be something else. So,
yeah, crazy variation.
Yeah. There's another one. This guy was another bit of a problem feeder girl, but is powering on now. It's now eating almost small rats now. But yeah, once again, it's more the colour.
Coloured up nicely.
Yeah, it's colouring up. It's the reds in the albino MDs is quite spectacular. So I'd put it up there as good as some of the albino bredli stuff. It's just probably because there's less of these around at the moment, and it's no different the albino bredli brand. You've produced them. Same with the variation in those. You get some that are red like this, and then you're going to get some that are a bit more yellow, and your pastel yellows, you still get that variation.
Definitely, and same deal. Adding higher percentage, of the Murray blood into those should hopefully improve that beyond again 75 and 88%.
Yep, and that's that same girl now from the last photo. Yeah. You see the little white dot on her nose.
Yep.
Yeah. Then we go
same
here. The same thing. There's a little white dot on the nose. So that was trying to get it feeding, and that's it feeding. Yeah.
That's it pumping.
Yeah. So they're quite spectacular, the red albinos. I'd like to keep them, a bit of a hoarder. I think it's quite spectacular having those sort of colours in the albinos.
Beautiful. Peter Knox asks, is there any Sunglow peppers going around?
I think Jared Sharp might have one, doesn't he? Sunglow pepper? Does he have one?
Yep. I guess it'll come down to what's proven, what's not. As that picture showed, there's some yellow ones and there's some very orange ones, which, generally you'd say, boom, that's Sunglow pepper. But I guess they'll have to breed and make caramels, paired out to a wild type to be sure, because that's
you definitely need to prove it.
Trap.
Yeah, definitely need to prove it. And I put these in here especially for Brent. See, so that was the original pairing I made for the albino bredli line that Brent, myself, and a few others now have. So that was my albino boy over my classic bredli girl. Yep. That lasted entirely of about 5 days.
Yes, that's where that striping comes from in that line too. That albino male has that striping which sneaks on into a few of mine anyway.
Yep, certainly does. Yeah, there's a few people around with those hats. Alex Leith is another one. He got some hats off me as well. So, but they're
good to see a few more out there now. Yeah, Tong Lara saying he got one of those from me. He certainly did. He got a nice orange one. Beautiful animals. Something
like that. Like this one is just spectacular. That was was this one you kept, Brent, or not? I can't remember.
It would have been, yep. Anything that was really orange early, I kept. I kept one of the really yellow color ones, which had the unreal stripe, and I kept a few of the really orange things, which are adults now. So we'll branch out into a couple of areas this year using a few of those adults.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, they're quite stunning critters. So carrying on, I'm keeping an eye on the time here, Brent. See, I just want to go through them. We can chat more after.
Good boy. You're on schedule, man. You're going well.
But yeah, so this is I'll just go through. Oh, that one's in the wrong folder. That should be in.
Show a couple of the combos.
Yeah, no, this is the wrong. That's the. It goes in the combos folder. There we go. Look at that. So this is just some of the variation that you see in some of the peppers. I'll just put in some random photos.
This is just the pure stuff.
Yeah, there's some mixed in here. So this guy is a pure one. That's a pure as well. Silver pepper. So that would have been one of the original girls that were produced from the MD back to the OG pepper girl. So this will be one of her kids. That one. That's a Posset albino version. That one. See, that one's almost fully striped. It's got the stripe that runs all the way down its body. It's quite nice. I had a few like that hatch out, and the silver peppers do seem to have this standard striping down the back half of the body. And I think some of these others that are getting striping, it might be, I'm guessing, a polygenic influence from that striping in the albino Darwin that produced the clutch originally. That's where I'm guessing, like you said, with some of the striped bread light you're getting. I think it's just a bit of a throwback from that.
Just dragged in. Yeah.
And
most are still showing it, though.
Yeah. So this is another pure silver pepper, and you can see here that stripe down the body as well in it. Another one, just this one's a little bit more heavily patterned. This is one of my breeder boys. So, but once again, you still see the stripe down the bottom, same pepper patterning they have.
So far, the black eye is a factor that we've talked about before.
Yeah, it goes along with it. I still don't believe that just because it has black eyes makes it a pepper. I actually hatched one this year that has black eyes. Remember I showed you, Brent? And it's as wild type as they come. So just because people see black eyes, it doesn't necessarily make it a pepper until it has more work done. So I've kept that one in particular because it's the most wild type one I've produced, and I will be putting a pepper back to it to see what it produces.
I've actually got an adult Murray girl, unrelated to anything pepper. I've had it for a long time, and pure black eyes. So I think it's just a trait in Murray Darling. So it's going to be a trick thing, I guess. You know, it seems like all peppers have black eyes, but everything that has black eyes is not a pepper.
That's exactly right. No, I do try to explain that to people. I think people just see black eyes and go, "Oh, it's a pepper." I'm like, no, the defining trait is the pattern.
Yeah,
you know, it's the pattern. It's not the eyes. Is what you're looking for. So obviously, there's polygenic variation, and the more different bloodlines that go on that is going to affect that as well. You know, if there's jungle blood in there or whatever. But yeah, whether it's just a link to the gene, but it doesn't mean I've got pure zebras that have black eyes, have nothing to do with the pepper at all.
And we've seen the albino versions, you know, all have the solid red eye as well.
Yep. There's another pick of the OG pepper. She was a good girl. Fortunately, she got a tumor and I lost her a couple of years back. So I think she just became a pet after a while.
Done a service though.
Yep. Gentle Giant is another one of the boys.
That's beautiful, isn't it? I love the back end on that one.
Yeah, they're quite. I like how it's like almost every scale is just kind of surrounded by black.
Yep.
On it. And once again, the good old telltale stripe. That seems to be consistent with them. Another one I hatched out. So this guy, I call this guy two-tone. So he's obviously a lot bigger now, but you can see he's got the typical silvery grey at the top, and then goes this kind of, I suppose, a browny colour at the back end. Yeah. So he got nicknamed two-tone.
He held that into adulthood, or he coloured up a bit more silver?
Still the same. I do need to get updated photos. I don't have the time. So he's one that I held back from last year. He's one of last year's babies. And he's eating probably small rats now, wiener rats sort of thing. I don't really smash them hard anymore. Just, the girls just make sure they're up to size by 2.5. So he's on target. There's something. This one's actually one I think is going to the show. This one is one that's got a bit of striping. some of it are quite. I've got more photos of other stuff. I just it's a bit short notice to get out.
That's a mixed blood one, that last one, or
yes, that's mixed blood as well. So that's Posset albino.
Posset albino,
well.
yeah. You can almost see a bit of Darwin influence in it.
Yeah, and now to one of my favourites.
Oof.
You know, a patternless sort of thing. I call it patternless anyway, or reduced pattern, whatever.
That's crazy.
That is absolutely stunning. Even now, it's an adult now. It was not from last year, the year before. So she's up to size for breeding this year. So I'm hopefully she'll go. You can almost see this patch of scale down here. She's got these white blotches on her belly.
It's the start of a pipeline.
I wish the ultimate dream, isn't it? The carpet python dream, that is the holy grail for me, anyway.
Everybody.
Yeah, but yeah, she's definitely. I mean, my photos aren't the best, but she's definitely a favourite of mine.
That's beautiful.
So
it'll be interesting to see how that goes phylogenetically with what you pair it to, another pepper of some sort.
Yeah. Well, time will tell. I actually hatched out one a long time ago. Only lasted 2 days out of the egg. Unfortunately, I actually had less pattern than that. It was almost completely, silver coloured. No melanin at all. But unfortunately, it died for some reason. This one's just a little bit more speckled. Like, it's almost like it's got a Morse code along its back. Dot dot dash dot.
Yeah, very, very odd long lines, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a bit different to the normal pepper patterning.
Some of the nice red highlights too,
Yeah, plus had albino as well. There's something a little bit more stripy, so a little bit different. It's kind of got the reverse dot dot dash down the side, but it's nice stripe pretty much all the way down its back.
Yes, it's almost like a train track pattern, that thing, isn't it?
Yeah, gets quite solid up here towards the back. Nice black either side. So, yeah, the variation in them heaps. That's that same patternless one. Is a bit older.
Yep.
Coming along. So a little bit more melanin, but that's what you get. And
still that very light background. Still, you can still see it's missing a lot of pattern.
When going back to what I was saying before about the the ghosting of it, when this thing ghosts, it's absolutely spectacular. But I normally it's just had a big crap or a shed and I haven't cleaned the enclosure, and then it's like, yeah, of course you look great, and then there's a turd in the corner. So
it's not the best photo.
Yeah, that's that other one I said before. So it's just showing a bit of variation. This one's just shed. There's other stuff. There's another one. That's that other one, the younger size.
Yep.
Stripe. I do have some more. There's another one, different variation again of the stripe one.
Yeah, it's crazy the differences, isn't it?
Yep. In case you didn't notice, I like this one.
That's a female?
Yes, that's a female. Yeah.
Yep.
She's lovely. So yeah, she's a bit younger there. So she's up to size. So, and then we'll jump into the fun stuff.
Keep Adam happy. He wants to see triple visuals, please.
Yeah, I got triple visuals. There we go. It's not the best photo. This actually is coming into shed. When I went to take this photo for the Expo, because this one's actually going to the Expo. It was in shed. I've got two others, and they're also both in shed. I'm like, oh well.
Spray them daily till Sunday. Hopefully they'll shed, in the tub on the way there.
Yeah, so that's a caramel pepper jag. I reckon they're quite stunning. Like the other one I have has a more, what I'd say, a silvery tone in the background rather than the caramelly tone. It's quite stunning. It's one I've picked as a keeper for myself, obviously, because I'm greedy like that. And we've got another triple visual here from some fluky bugger, Mr. KHP. So this is the albino pepper jag version of the caramel.
Some fluky took a gamble and won.
Absolutely. Huge gamble, which paid off. And
yes,
just the power of possets, as we often talk about.
It is. It's a lesson on take risks, go big,
get
lucky.
Yeah, so quite a stunning, spectacular triple gene animal, that's for sure.
He's feeding like an absolute legend too. So started on mice and mate takes a weaned and adult mice already, going very well.
Nice. Yeah, certainly cracking. There's some, and then flip over here. That's my new OG. That's the world's first albino pepper, and it's a turd. It is an absolute turd. Has no tongue, doesn't tongue flicker. I fought for almost 2 years to get it to eat. Now that it's actually eating, I'm still fighting for it to keep it eating. It actually got to eating wiener rats now, which is good.
It's growing then. That's good.
It's growing.
Still going to be a long road.
Yeah, it's probably. I don't think I'll use it as a breeder as such, just because I don't know whether it just doesn't have a tongue, but it does. No matter what happens, there's no tongue flicker at all, which makes it awfully difficult to feed it. So. But,
disappointing for a world first and such a beautiful snake too.
Yeah, but this was another one which hatched out after that one. So one was the first one. This was another albino pepper that hatched out the same year.
Same year, yeah.
So she just doesn't show the pattern quite as strong. She's almost a patternless version. I think a bit like this guy. So I think that last one is the albino form, this caramel pepper, which is at the top of my favourites in the favourites collection. I think the caramel pepper is just a stunning mutation, in my opinion.
Very, very reduced too, isn't it? I mean, caramel does that, but that's a very good example.
Yeah, and the possibility, I should say, is that all these ones that have actually, I'll tell a lie, these are actually hypo, are all possible supers as well. So whether that is reflected in this, I don't know. Obviously, I'd have to breed it to prove it out. It could have absolutely nothing to do with it at all.
Yeah, but could be just a super factor.
Yeah. But you've already seen photos of that other patternless silver pepper.
Yep.
So this could just
no super in that. Yeah. Definitely possible from polygenics.
Yeah, that's just I don't know. I like that photo. Not that my photos are very good or in focus or anything like that, because I can't see shit on my phone.
Look at those eyes. The eyes are spectacular, aren't they?
Yeah, and they're still black. You think I thought maybe they'd be caramel or something like that, but obviously, obviously it's not T plus. It's the hypo is more the word.
Yep.
And this is a bit of a favourite at the house at the moment. So this is a ghost pepper or caramel xanthic pepper.
Oh yes.
Yeah, which is
that is a stunner. That is a good looking snake.
It is. It's hard to get a good photo of it. But it is.
I need that. I really need one of those.
Pop over, mate. Just take it. I don't need it. I don't want it.
How many you got? I won't take them all.
Only 3.
There you go. 1 for you, 2 for me.
Only 3. Yeah, that's right. This one's the oldest, though.
Yep, that was from the first year, the world first one.
Yeah, that was the world first. The caramel was the world first. This is also the world's first xanthic pepper.
Yep.
It's still obviously fairly young at this point in time. But, yeah.
Going well.
Boys. Yep. So these photos are in no particular order. I've just shoved them in the photos. This is a younger photo of the ghost pepper. Obviously eating, which is always a good thing when you've got something new and first. You always want it to be feeding properly.
Established and well.
Yep, another photo of it. It's quite stunning. Like, it really is. I've had them. A few people have probably seen them. I did take them to Penrith and put them on display at Penrith for people to have a look at, which got a lot of oohs and ahs. But I'm not taking any display animals down to Illawarra. That's for sure.
Full house as it is.
Yep. The albino pepper. So that's obviously the second one, not the first one.
Very lighter, whiter, yeah.
Yeah, it was the one that showed patternless. You can see now, obviously, the pattern starting to come through. She's the one that sits here beside me and wants to eat and kill everything that goes near her. She's quite feisty.
Good feeder. Loves
the food. Due for another feed. she's beautiful. Though. She's not a snappy bitey snake, but if she gets angry, she'll certainly have a crack.
Is she big enough to breed this year?
Yeah, I'll pull her out. Yeah. She's up the size to breed this year.
Yep.
So it's an earlier photo. So you'll probably see some of these photos in well, maybe not these particular ones, but similar ones to this in the book coming out soon. So it's a Xanthic
Nick Muttons.
pepper. Yep. Yeah.
Beautiful.
The eyes.
Such shine in the eyes, isn't it?
Yeah. I really love the
gloss black.
Stuff. Yeah. I really like it. That's her now. That's the one that showed no pattern. Just very yellow. Really love how they get, we often talk about during the egg cutting how we have that colour difference in the head. And obviously it's quite, with the albino, they've got a quite orange head compared to the rest of the body.
And the Murray pattern and all.
Yeah. So she's come along quite well. She's a little favourite. I like it when they eat.
What are you going to pair her with this year?
Oh, I don't know. Should I give things away? I don't know.
Tell us. Is it pepper? Something?
No.
Okay, don't tell us then.
No, I did think about that, but no, I'm going to carry on the path of more multi-gene. So something that'll add an extra 3 genes to it to make the 5-gene critter, I think, is in order. So, hopefully I'll be putting a ghost zeb boy over it. So that should give me caramel zebra, triple hat, Xanthic, albino, silver peppers.
Why would you want to do that, mate?
I don't know. Something wrong with me, I think. It's like
coming up with these stupid ideas.
Yeah. Yes. So
that'll be a monster. That'll be quite the clutch variation when those things start to pop out.
Definitely. So obviously, I'll be looking for some caramel zebras in the clutch, hopefully. So
hold back central.
Yeah, well, that'll throw a whole mix: super zebra peppers and ghost super zebra peppers and all sorts of stuff. So that'll be hopefully a good strong clutch.
Snow, moonglow, pepper,
with my
all stuff.
Yeah, the way my odds go, I should see would it be a sunglow zebra? No, what would it be? Moonglow zebra pepper, I guess.
Yep.
Probably in about 2040.
Well, that's why you'll be keeping all the girls, because Jason, I think those triple head odds work out at about 1 in 512. The triples, when you've got the I did it on one of the triple heads I've got. Some of the combos come out at 1 in 512 when you've got caramel and J thrown into.
Yeah, if you add the 5 genes, that's right. You'd be I think five recessive genes is like 1 in 1028 or something or other. Whatever it is, something like that.
It's impossible numbers.
Yeah.
512. I think I did it, and it's just you'll need all the girls and you'll need all the eggs. It's going to be years and years of work.
Because three recessives is just 1 in 64, but it's every gene you add, assuming either the super form or the double gene form is a multiplicative of 4. So it's 4 by 4 by 4 by 4 by 4 by 4, and it wraps up pretty quick.
64, like the incompletes just double it. So really, you go from 64 to 128, 256. So it's big numbers when you're talking no clutches are 256 wide.
Yep. That's it. You keep an eye on the chat here. Mr. Boswell said good night and see you later. So see you, Daz, if you haven't left already, which probably is.
And then he just said he'd better chance of winning lotto. So he's not gone yet. I'll get it done. Daz, just send a couple of females to me, mate, and I'll make that happen for you.
I'll just send you the hits, all the POS hits, mate. You just prove them all out. That's it. And this is Pepper Jag. They start off quite dark, and they these guys are really starting to. Look at that.
That's beautiful.
I
love caramel stuff. Like the contrast between those two snakes is insane. But caramel for me, caramel peppers are just next level. They're just insane looking animals.
Yeah, well, you can see obviously you get there's where you get that pepper jag color when you look at your albino form. You look at my caramel pepper jag, and then obviously you look at this. This is an earlier photo of this little guy, but yeah, it's just almost just patless caramel.
Yeah, it's insane.
Quite a stunning little critter. And that's that pepper jag. It was a little bit younger, so that was the world first, that one. So they're coming along nicely. They're quite a crazy looking pattern on these guys. A bit different than everything else.
Yep.
And that's a crappy photo of the ghost.
Stop it.
I opened the drawer. It had a shit in the shed and everything else, but it was sitting there looking so lovely. I tried to take a photo, but it looks absolutely terrible when you have it on a big screen like this. But on my phone, it looked really good.
Doesn't look that bad to me, mate. That is a good looking animal.
Yeah, so I kind of took a photo and then took it out and give it a clean. But yeah, you can see the shed down the bottom of the screen here.
Fresh skin.
Yeah, it was like, and it was just sitting there, just perfectly coiled, and I just take bad photos.
Yeah, well, good snakes, man. It's hard to take bad stuff. So
I bought this ugly thing. So you can see that pepper jag pattern in it.
Yep, transferred over.
It's quite nice in the albino.
I love the eyes.
What are you doing with this one?
I got no idea. It's just growing like a weed, so I'll just grow it. I have zero idea what I'm going to do with any of that pepper stuff yet.
Well, I've got a good idea, so send it here and I'll send you a ghost pepper.
I'm sure we'll work something out. There's I had so many males in those. I was so happy to get some. It's the first time I've done pepper anything, so I was very happy with last year's peppers to get some caramel peppers, caramel pepper jags. A few of the combos out in one go, but so many males for me, which that's a male too, which I was happy about. But I only managed to get one female silver pepper out of all of the peppers I popped out from the two clutches. Yeah, it's a bit of a shame, but
that kind of a season for both of us, wasn't it?
Mate, it happens in different clutches. You just get smashed. So, Matt Loveridge saying agreed about the caramel peppers. Mate, the caramels are just mate. That's just to me. I don't know. I'm a big caramel fan, and I got two or three of those caramel peppers. One of them just blows my mind. I opened the tub, and it may well be my favourite hatchie of the season last year.
Yeah, they are that patternless one. This is another version. This one's an excess to my needs.
Strong caramel too.
Yeah, they really are quite spectacular. So the original heritage of these, the male I use is actually a hypoxanthic Lark's line.
Yep.
Pepper. I do call them caramel peppers, but I just call everything caramel, hypo or not. And when I actually did the book, Nick Mutton actually messaged and said, I need to know exactly what they are. I said, caramel peppers. He goes, yeah, but is it caramel? Is it hypo? Is it what? And I said, well, if that's the case, then they're actually truly a Lark's line, which I believe came from Rob McLeod hypo coastals originally.
Yep.
So it was a excuse me, a hypoxanthic Lark's line over a pure silver pepper. So that's where this line has come from. But yeah, they're quite stunning. Very, very caramely or hypo-ish. I prefer caramel.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, everything I've got's caramel. It's true caramel too, because it came from a caramel jag from our good mate Dave Raptor's Reptiles. That's where the stuff on me. So it's be interesting to see the differences in the lines and how well they stand apart with the caramel and hypo sides.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I do have some of that caramel stuff as well from Dave.
Yep.
Which I'll put in, as you know, put into some of those nice big Bredli girls and made some of the nice hypo Bredli stuff or caramel Bredli stuff that I have.
Yep.
Yeah. And that's the going back, like I said before, the caramel version of the pepper jag. Once again, you can see the same thing I keep saying about the head. Always have this different color head for whatever reason.
Yep.
But I reckon they're going to be quite stunning when they get older.
Very nice. Very nice.
So there we go. That's got a quick rundown.
That's the quick pepper story.
That's the
2
quick
days.
pepper story. There's a
what's
lot
that? 17 years of work.
Yeah, 2007. I hatched the very first
15
one.
15 years. Yep.
Yep. Where was that? Back here somewhere. That was the very first little clutch. We had that before. There it is. The very first ones. Where are we? That and that. There we go. First clutch ever, 2007.
And then a long road to where we are now, and obviously the future holds lots of things. I know and obviously you've sold stuff over the past couple of years, and now we'll get to see a lot of people go out in different directions using different lines, using different xanthics, different lines of caramel, different lines of albinos. We'll see, the differences of many of the even existing combos will be amazing to see over the next few seasons.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, at the end of the day, it was just luck. I was just lucky. There was nothing else other than I was just purely lucky to put two things together and get something unusual. But I do have to, I don't know, give myself a little bit of credit, I suppose, because I was then able to take it, prove it to where it is today. And it's actually nice to sit back and see other people breeding peppers now, knowing that all these people that are producing silver peppers, whether they've bought them directly from me or bought them directly from people that I've sold to, have all stemmed from me. So if there's a silver pepper out there, baby. It's come from me. Whether indirectly, as in, I sold to Brent. Brent sells one to someone else who then breeds it and then sells it to someone else. But, I look forward to sitting in 10 years' time and being some nobody pleb in the background that does nothing and hear people talking about look, check out this, caramel, super, zebra, blotch, patch, pepper, ghost, sunglow, doodad, butterfly, clip.
Pied unicorn.
Pied unicorn. And going, that pepper? Yeah, that was me.
Yeah.
So there's a bit of wank factor in there. Not that I normally sprout that. I'm not that sort of way inclined, but it's nice to see.
It's good, man. It's something to be proud of because it is a lot of work. And mate, how many projects have been lost over years? We've seen things hatch out. We've seen things being trying to be proved out with different genes in the hobby, and through disasters of health incidents, robberies, all different sorts of reasons. Some projects just never get off the ground. There's some absolutely stunning projects that I have watched over, in the past decade, sitting patiently praying that they'll get going. Never do, So it's not, just getting one out is not winning the race. Getting them out, proven in numbers and going, mate, that's a lot of work.
And having the photographic background and proof, we've said it before. If you're going to claim something, I mean, here's just a sample of photos. Like when Brent said, "I'll get a few photos and slap me in a folder," I'm like, my computer's pretty new. I took all the photos off my old one. They're all on a hard drive somewhere. I've got a new phone, and I took all the photos off and never transferred any of the old photos to my new phone. I'm like, I have no photos anywhere. So I actually had to dig up my own phone, plug it in, charge it, try to send me stuff. Well, actually, when most of these photos here I've dragged off Facebook, but I've got a couple of hard drives somewhere loaded with a lot more. There's there's whole talk on the peppers I've done for Illawarra back in the day, and Hawkesbury and Central Coast and stuff. So there's tons more photos. So to claim I've got this without any sort of evidence. Sorry, I'm going to call you out, because let's face it, if you're in the hobby and you've got something new going on and you see something mating, there's no excuse. Like, we've all got phones and cameras. I know come breeding season, I'm like, something's mating, I'm taking photos. They might not be the best, you might not want to share them, but you're taking photos. All the time, especially if it's, the first of something you're trying to prove out.
Even just clutches, like anything that hatches, I have 14,000 photos in my phone just from this clutch just hatched. Take some pics. That's cool. Take a pic. Put them all in a tub. Take a pic. It's just pictures galore. So
the last phone was I just get a new one every 2 years. I buy a phone on a 2-year plan. When it's up, kids get it, and so on and so forth. 2 years, there was 7,500 photos on my phone.
Yeah, insane.
And sometimes I'm lucky to post one photo every 2 weeks because I just get too tied up doing everything else. And other weeks I'll post 10 photos. It's not that I don't have them. Sometimes I'll take photos for myself and go, no, I don't really like it. It's had a crap in the tub, but it sits real like that ghost pepper photo. It had a shed, it's shit, as they do. Go to the drawer, I better clean this out. Oh, wow, look at that. I'll take a photo. I don't have the patience that some people do, and I really appreciate the time and effort that some people do when they have their little studio and their log and they get the snake on there and all the lights and the cameras and they take amazing. I have all the respect in the world because
too much time on their hands.
I do not have the patience. I put a little thing on top of them and I walk away for 10 minutes. I come back, if I take it off, they move, they go back in the drawer and I do something else. I just
done.
Yep. I'm like, no, you're not going to sit there and piss off, go in your drawer. I'll just feed you later. So
it's hard work. Matty Trav's got a good question. Have you noticed anything similar to silver pepper in the ball pythons?
No.
As in a similar morph?
No, the closest thing I've seen was in retics, actually. A very similar style pattern. It's called Golden Child. I don't know if anyone's seen one of those. Let me see if I can't Google an image quickly. They had a very similar sort of patterning to them.
That's broken up sort of patterning?
Yeah. Child. See if I can find an image.
No solid eyes, though?
No, they're trying to find one that's just a standard one. It just had a similar. Oh, there's a good photo. I'll just grab this photo here. Oh no, I don't want to see a video. I'll just show you. Sorry. So you can see the patterning over on the right hand side in the big picture. That's is a golden child. Oh, here we go. Down here. So let's click visit. Yeah, okay. That's not going where I want it to do, is it? You see? No, bugger off. I don't want to be no friend or anything. I just want to see your photo. But yeah, so that's a golden child. So that's kind of the closest thing I think I've seen to something silver pepperish.
Even a bit of the striping sort of thing of the dorsal as well. It's quite nice.
Striping, yeah, that was the closest. Obviously, there's a lot more things in retics over there. I don't know if there's any other kind of different color variations. There's a different sort of, not the same, but similar, I guess it's like granite and pepper, There's obviously a lot of granite fans that go, oh, it's the same thing. I'm like, they're not the same. There's a similarity, but they are completely different. Not the same.
Yep.
Hopefully this year that'll get proven. Someone hasn't done it yet. Cough.
Can't hear you, Daz. Don't know what you're talking about. Get proven this year, don't you worry, buddy. Nothing else to do, so you and me will be ensuring that project is done this year.
Yeah. So, but that's kind of the closest thing that I've seen to a silver pepper. Not to say that there isn't something in ball pythons. I haven't seen anything. I can't say that I've actively gone looking to find something the same. I think what have they got, 5,000 or 6,000 different morph variations or something in ball pythons. Ridiculous.
Yeah.
I'm probably not going to sit there and look at every single one. But yeah,
I've flicked through McCurley's book of it's only 3,500 or something in that Ultimate Ball Python Morph Maker, and I don't recall anything that struck me too much in the ball python world. Very similar.
No. I mean, if anybody else has ball reasons, flick us a picture. Show us. It'd be very cool to see. But yeah, I mean, this is what we want. The good old pied would be nice. Anyway,
no, stop it.
Yeah.
Adam Andrews saying he's taken a shot at a 1 in 32 triple visual this season. So it's where things will get interesting when a lot more people get out there and start making some combos. We should start to see some very interesting things over the next few years.
Yeah. If you're still here, Adam, what's the 1 in 32? What's the what are the 3 genes involved in that one? Obviously, caramel or hypo something or other, maybe.
Yeah, it might be 1 in 32. I'd say it might be a double recessive and a incomplete dominant by those numbers.
Yeah, it could be Zeb double head or Jag double head or.
Yep. It'd be cool to see some out there.
Oh, excuse me.
Peter Staton, thanks for dropping in, mate. See you at the show
mate.
For sure. Everyone, anyone who's in Australia, come to the Expo in Illawarra Reptile Society at Berkeley this Sunday. If you live in Australia, you must come.
Yeah. Oh, there we go. Adam Andrews, albino exanthic pepper. Your odds are a little bit. You're at triple recessive, a little bit greater than 1 in 32, mate. They're actually 1 in 64. So, yes, being 3 recessive traits. So 1 in 32 is if it's an incomplete dominant. So you've got 2 1 in 4s and a 1 in 2. So
that's a monster. That'll take some eggs, and that'll be interesting.
Well, it could be just like Brent. You know, you might get 3 in the first clutch. So good luck.
It's possible. It's possible. Yes,
you don't want my odds. Sorry, is what I should say. You don't want my odds. My odds are terrible.
Lots of girls make lots of eggs. That's what it's going to come down to as we get into these, triple, quad, pentagonal clutches of difficulty. It's going to require holdbacks of lots of girls and many eggs to see. I can see myself doing a season of triple head, things 1 year. It's just, I kept back a whole clutch of triple heads. It's just going to be 7 or 8 clutches of triple head stuff. There'll be enough variety in them. It'll be fantastic egg cuttings. It'll be exciting times.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I think the excitement when you start getting into 4, 5, and even 6 genes, obviously the more you compound genes, the more chances you have for fatality, sadly. After all, we are talking about mutations, but I think, to get something 6 gene or 7, depending on how many there are, like to hatch a clutch of 20, just going, wow, you could have any one of these. I mean, it's one, for example, it's say 1 in 512, but not everything is 1 in 512. So there might be 4 or 5 of this, or 6 of that, or 8 of this, or 10 of something else. But to have, even so, to have that many actual combinations and variations in one clutch, I mean, I really look forward to it.
Yep.
Just go
pile them all in.
Start to feel like the ball python breeders. I've got 6 eggs. I've got 1 in 879 million combinations it could be. What have I hatched?
And we don't know what it is. We'll have to breed it to prove it. That's how it goes. I love watching Jay Brewer with his retic stuff with possible 7 gene animal, and we think we got it. It looks cool, but we'll breed it out later and work it out.
Yeah. Corey Farr, do Morelia have the, I suppose I can click on these things. I forgot about that. I'm steering the box. Morelia have the potential to range in more senior ball pythons? Nowhere near it. Morelia probably have
50 one of the, years.
Yeah, if you're lucky. Morelia probably way down, probably not the bottom of variation, but they're certainly low in what there is, considering, I mean, if you look at all the different, bearded dragons, there's quite a few variations of bearded dragons. Yep. There's lots of different mutations in geckos. So Morelia don't actually have that many. You start looking
boas and retics and stuff. The boas and retics have plenty. There's
corn snakes, milk snakes, all that sort of stuff. There's just hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of them.
Yeah.
I remember I've said it before, going to Brian Barczyk's facility at BHP, and he had one room, 7,500 tubs in his colubrid room, and it was just like a candy shop. It's black with white pinstripes, white with black pinstripes, it's white with purple pinstripes, it's pink with blue pinstripes. It's like, then there's blotches and dots and speckles, and it's like unbelievable. So many combinations,
Yeah, crazy stuff.
Yeah, crazy. I missed much. You missed everything, Joe. No excuses, mate.
Where you been, Joe? You've been off looking at your bloody green trees, haven't you? Hey?
He's been...
he picked up a very nice pair, Mr. Forza. Good score. Good score. What's the score in the 40, anyone? Speaking of scores, surely it must be nearly over by now.
Someone won and the other person lost.
You never know, Matty Travis. Hand over your credit card and I'll be there. My credit card won't help you much, Matty Travis. It's linked to my eBay, which I've got a bad habit of buying things. So my card won't probably buy you an egg and bacon roll for breakfast. 32-13. And is that a loss for the Rabbits, I take it? 32-12 now. I took the field goal off them.
Awesome. Oh, yeah. So I just noticed a comment there from Steve Johnson. He mentioned ball pythons have a monsoon. I can see they're different. I can see a similarity to what you mean, but not quite the same. I'll just pull one up. Yeah, no, not quite. Where's maybe a better picker one?
Joe said he was having a shower. I wonder if they make a shower tall enough for Joe. Like the average shower head wouldn't extend high enough up for him to stand under, I wouldn't think.
No, he's just got a hole in the ceiling.
Puts
his head in there and up in the roof.
There's a hose comes through the ceiling.
I mean, I'm not short myself, but yeah.
He's a big man.
He's a bit silly. Well, how tall are you, Joe? What is he, 6'5" or something like that? I'm 6'2". But that's, I can see a similarity there with Peppers, but not quite the same. Different.
Yeah, we get a similar phenotype.
Yeah. Just clicking through. Very, very pretty snake, though. That one there is quite stunning. I love it. It's like a caramel. Yeah. A fire monsoon ball. I don't know. I'd call it. But there we go. All right.
There you go. 2.7 ceilings. That'll fix it, Joe. You need it, big boy. I saw Matty Travs asked a little bit earlier about have I seen any locks yet. I have not paired a single pair of snakes just yet. I'm not like Matty Travs who breeds stuff in February. I wonder if he's trying for his early clutch runner like he pulled off last year. We'll see how we go.
I'm the same. I haven't paired a thing. I do know things are starting to go. It's been much cooler this time of year than it was last year. Last year it was quite warm. Things took a while to cycle. But I noticed with the last feed I gave, which would have been maybe not last week before, I did a big feed out. And a lot of the boys were like interested. Some would eat. Some would have to tease and they'd eat. Some of the male ants, come up, sniff, look at the
finished.
Food. Yeah, done.
Don't care.
So I know we're knocking right on breeding season door. Once the ants go, everything else will start to follow. There's still a few things I want to get some size on, so I will be doing another feed next week on some of the adult girls. Probably won't offer the boys any more food for now. They're all decent size. So,
yep, getting close. I don't rush. I look back at. I mean, everyone's collections are different areas, and the way people have cooled, and different states, things are different. But I look back at ovulations and when clutches are laid, and date things back to work out when the actual mating was likely effective. And I never find anything this early works for me. I rarely find June, July. July for me is the prime time for when things actually take and work. So I don't really rush to get them in early. I think it can run the boys out if they've got too much to do for too long.
Yeah, I agree. And not just because they're locking now doesn't mean the girl's going to ovulate. So,
no.
You can fluke an early clutch, like some people we know, Matthew Traves. But I think it's sheer luck of.
Yep.
You get a bit of a cold week. You happen to pair something up. They go, oh, it's cold. They mate. Then it warms up. And you do get that chance the female go, oh, it's warm already. I'll ovulate. It can happen. It doesn't happen as often. But I'm like Brent. I don't rush the season. I wait until, like I just said, stuff starts to go off their feed. And I won't even look at pairing anything for probably another 2-3 weeks.
Yep.
kids, still want to get some size on a few girls, so I won't rush it. At the end of the day, look at it now. Where this time of year, we're all talking about breeding and pairing stuff up. No, not really. Whether it lays now or in 3 weeks' time, ovulates now or in 3 weeks' time, it's not really going to make a difference. You might get out sooner than someone else, but I don't care. Good luck to them and good on them. Half their luck. So I just do my own thing and what works for me, which is
see a lot of the ants. The ants sort of kick off the season. The boys are the ones that seem to go off food first and want to get busy. So the ants may be very late this month, but carpets next month for sure.
Yeah. So we'll get there. There's a couple of this one from
Joe Forza. Should the Reptile Expo go over 2 days in the future instead of one? Interesting idea. I know in the States they do. I think the biggest issue would be people have got snakes on display with security overnight. I'd be a bit worried leaving a lot of hatchies or snakes sitting in a hall overnight unless they had some sort of brilliant security or some way you could lock up your own display away from anybody else who'd be lurking around.
Yeah, I don't think. I mean, I've had the privilege of being able to go to Tinley Park, which is one of the biggest reptile expos in the US. 3 days, 2.5 days, or something like that. And I mean, it's massive. Like the amount of people on that selling stuff at the show is like 3 or 4 times our shows. Probably more, probably 10 times. Like the hall's probably, the hall will be at least twice the size of, say, Penrith. What I mean? And at least 2, maybe 3 times as big, and it's packed. It's like it's chocolate, And so I could kind of understand that
where there's the demand and the people.
Yeah, but I know that not all shows that they do over there go all weekend. So a lot of them are only 1-day shows. Some of the smaller ones are 1-day shows. And I don't know whether a 2-day show out here would justify. I think people would go to one, and we just don't have the population. I mean, over in the show, they have like, I don't know, I think Brian Barczyk said years ago, something like 60-odd shows a year.
Yep, all across the country.
The phone cut out there. You
there? Yeah, your sound's cutting out a little bit now.
Yeah, I'm not sure why. It just dropped in out for some reason. Don't know why. Yeah, so they have a lot more shows than what we do. And I think even with the shows we have out here, like we would get, I think, 5 at one point in time. And that was probably enough. I don't think there'd be enough. Like if you did 8 or 9 shows a year, I think you'd probably struggle.
Yep. Like, the times we had the 5 in Sydney, that was even pretty hectic, where you had sort of back-to-back weekends and then 2 weeks off to Central Coast and then a month to this one. And, it was it was pretty hard work, for people who work, have a real job, Daz, and do stuff.
Job, mate.
Fitting that into the schedule is hard work. And yourself, like, you've talked about this week how much work's involved. I've sat at the bloody table. Mum's done labels for days at work, and I'm sticking on tubs and organising things. There's a lot of behind-the-scenes work just getting the animals ready, never mind the setups and prep and getting there. I think if you were going to do it full-time, like trying to travel the country and do shows, you'd need a much bigger population, I think, than what we've got here in Australia.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, you look at the big guys, and they're at a lot of shows doing it, but they're also like Brian was saying that some years he's produced 30,000 reptiles. Like it was a massive business to see that facility. It was like just massive warehouse, 2 stories, just loaded, absolutely choppers with stuff. Like just insane. Like
crazy numbers.
Crazy numbers, but their food costs, large rats, $2 or something or other for an extra large rat, it's like a quarter of the price over there than what it is out here.
Yep.
So it's a lot
like a lot of things, sadly.
Yep. Wages. I mean, he was paying his staff $9 or $10 an hour because that's what the wage was over there. Can't do that here. Yep. I mean, if I can employ someone for $9 an hour, like I'm talking adults, not school kids.
Yeah.
Like it's just it's different over there completely. But yeah, 2 days. I mean, I think it'd be too much out here at the moment. I don't think, 1 day is good enough people to turn up. Security issues, if you had it overnight, packing up, going back the next day, mate, you would be knackered by Monday.
Yeah, absolutely. Michelle is correct. Time for bed. See you tomorrow. See you tomorrow, Michelle.
Yep.
Yeah, mate. We'll wrap it up, Daz. I think we've told the Pepper story nicely. I think hope to see a lot of people on Sunday for the Expo.
Yeah, a few new combos there for sale that had never been offered before. So
yeah, it'd be good to see some of that stuff too. If you have a couple of things that are for sale that have never been for sale before, it'd be nice to
definitely. People
can at least look at stuff and buy hets or buy things to make those things, buy visuals to make the double heads to make them himself. It'll be good to see a lot more of this stuff at Reptile Expos over the next few years.
Yeah. Donna Bennett, no excuses. Hey boys, sorry I missed your live. We'll rewatch. Terrible.
Yes,
all right. Yes. Well, for those that are here, hopefully we'll see you on Sunday. If not, we'll probably do a show maybe the weekend after the show or the weekend after that. We'll see.
Yep.
Need to get them a little bit more regular. Yeah. Touch base on the show.
We're still going to do. We're going to do that show on virus and get Michelle in to talk about some of that stuff as well.
Yeah, definitely. That's on the cards. I have to talk to Michelle and see if I can't get her to come on and have a chat to us about all that stuff.
Be nice to get a real opinion from a real vet with up-to-date information. Would be great. So.
Yeah, definitely. Anyway,
should be good.
Yeah. All right. Well, thanks, guys. Appreciate everyone coming to say hello. And
where do people find you, Mr. Morelia by Design? If you wanted to find Darren at?
Yep. On Facebook, Morelia by Design, Instagram, and also we have our YouTube channel. And you, Brent?
KHP Reptiles, Facebook. Brent Smith on Messenger. A lot of people getting me through the webpage lately. The webpage is getting some traction, and despite my pathetic updating of it, I will get to updating that with a lot more information and pictures and data on khpreptiles.com.au. And YouTube, mate, YouTube just trickling along in the background there, but it's good that we can stream it out there. And when people need to find stuff, I know I get a lot of people asking about Pepper and history, so it's good these videos slip onto YouTube because it's a lot easier to send people there and they can find those videos easier. Facebook, they tend to just get lost in the newsfeed. It's very hard to track them down later on.
Yeah, yep.
So it'll be good little history lesson on YouTube there. So thanks for everyone dropping in. We'll hopefully see a few people on Sunday.
My microphone had a plastic attack. The earphones. Yeah. So definitely, I know it's something we're working on. I'm trying to get my website sorted. There's a lot of work to be done, but we're working on it. So that's the next stage for here as well by us to get a website. Just another thing. There's a ton of work to be done on.
Absolutely, that's a huge job too. So, and you got to start though. As much as it seems daunting, you've just got to start and got to build and keep things rolling on.
Yeah, definitely. So, that's it. I think we're done. So, thanks for dropping in. Thanks for saying hi. Hope you enjoyed the brief Pepper talk. I thought just show a few photos and get some information out there. So, I'm sure there's tons more I could dribble on about, but that was long enough, I think. I think I did well to keep it so short, Brent. What do you reckon?
You did all right, mate. I'm only 28 minutes past bedtime. It's not too bad. Not too bad.
It's doable.
I'm straight to bed now.
Yeah. All right. Thanks, everyone. We'll
cheers, mate.
See you on the weekend, and we'll catch you at the next one. Thanks, guys. See ya.
See ya.